How's it going, guys? So a couple days ago I actually unboxed my newest edition of a Tamron lens for my Sony a7 IV. That is the 35 to 100mm DI III VXD. Okay, so in my initial video review that I said, this lens is going to have a particular user base, which is for people who shoots a lot of event photography and needs that little additional reach of 100mm compared to many other standard lenses that stops at around 75. Okay. And so far, after a couple of days of using it every single day, just capturing daily lives, I have made my final decision on which lens I'm going to be keeping. And the other lens of the choice, or the other lens that I have, is of course the 28-75 G2 generation 2 of the Di3 VXD. Okay, so I've had this lens for a couple of years now, and the reason I got this lens was at a wedding shoot. One of the videographer was using this lens for her Sony camera, and she highly recommended this lens over even the G Master. Back then I had the G Master, I think 24-70, and I got rid of my G Master and I actually bought the 28-75, and I actually haven't looked back at all. And the fact is, I also had many prime lenses within the similar zoom range, and I have actually sold all my prime lenses that were much faster, from f1.4 to f1.8. They were all gone, and they were all replaced by just the single lens of the 28-75 f2.8. So again, in this video, I want to tell you that if you are looking for a general purpose lens, before I've owned this lens, I would probably suggest you to go buy a standard 35 f1.8 or maybe 50mm f1.8, depending on your shooting experience. Okay, but nowadays I really want to tell everybody that got a brand new camera, Sony E-mount full frame, and is looking for their first lens. And I think I almost want to just tell them to go buy the 28-75 f2.8. The advantage of this lens compared to the 35-100 f2.8 is that right now, because of the new release of the 35-100, this lens is $200 off MSRP. Okay, this lens used to be selling for $899, and now it's $699, which is an incredible value. And again, if you value size, convenience, and portability, the 28-75 is definitely going to be your top choice, because it is only 540 grams, so very, very lightweight, but it's very well constructed. Okay, so for all those times that I've owned it and used it, you can see there were no sign of use at all. The lens held up exceptionally well, and the optics I also really enjoy using. Yeah, there are vignetting, of course, but nowadays vignetting is easily corrected in Lightroom or post-processing, and there are some barrel distortions, again, easily corrected in the post-processing step. And also people were, I think the concern was, it's not a super fast prime lens, but then again, nowadays for my Sony, I put it on auto ISO and it always goes over 2000 to 4000. In post-processing, Lightroom, noise reduction applied, the images are just so good. It's to a point that talking about that additional couple stops is almost unnecessary. And it really comes down, nowadays, my opinion, comes down to what kind of sacrifice you want to make in terms of enjoying the portability of the lens, and also enjoying the ability to capture images at low light. If you absolutely need a fast, large aperture lens, then of course you're gonna spend quite a lot more money to get to that point. Maybe you require that for professional use if you're shooting any kind of events in low light. Yeah, spending the money, getting that absolute fastest aperture you can get is essential. But comes down to, if you're not, using those lenses to make a living, and you are most likely going to make a sacrifice or compromise to just get that lightweight, easy portability. And for me, coming from decades of photography experience, and now I don't really do any photography anymore. I changed my career, and it's probably a good move. I can come back and give you guys the advice from both ends of either a amateur or personal use case scenario, as well as professional use scenario. Now, I absolutely hated carrying fast prime lens or fast zoom lens, and just because after a couple hours of shooting with those lenses, your arm gets really fatigued and really tired. If you hang those around your neck, it's just unbearable weight. So to that point, that's why coming back to this video's topic is why I would recommend the 28-75 f2.8 from Tamron to everybody looking for their first lens, or maybe just a general purpose lens, is that it is so compact, it is so convenient, and it's just a joy to use. There were no complaints during my use, either for professional events, photography, or just general purpose traveling. Never had it failed for the intended purpose. The autofocus works almost perfect 100% of the time, tracking the eye of the human subjects and tracking the eye of the animals that I'm photographing around the house. This lens just never failed and always delivered. Because of the price advantage compared to Sony's native zoom lenses that were available, it is still, to me, my opinion, one of the best value out there for Sony E-mount lenses. And now they're making this for Nikon Z, and for some reason I think it's a little bit more expensive for Nikon Z, but still one of the best option. Okay. One hidden advantage of this lens is really the close focusing distance that you might not realize it until you actually had the need to use it to shoot some objects that's really, really close, and you want that additional semi-macro capability. That's where also this lens really, really shines, even compared to the 35-100 that I just bought. Yeah, so again, it's just, in my opinion, one of the best lens, or one of the first lens that you should get. That is my newest recommendation. Previously, I, again, always recommended a standard prime of 50 or 35mm, but now I want you to just buy this because you are going to be instantly happy about your purchase because of the versatility of this lens. All right. Uses a 67mm filter size, so it's very affordable to get smaller filters for this, and it's very common, so you can even get used filters for this for practically nothing. Put that on here, you don't even have to carry the lens cap, just use the UV filter as your protection. And other than that, also cool capability of connecting it to your computer and get the lens firmware updated, or get this function button reconfigured for the purpose that you want it to do. Okay, in that regard, yeah, it's a purposely built lens that provides insane value and also great performance for your Sony E-mount cameras. So with that said, I hope you found this video helpful, and it is crazy that I've owned this lens for close to, yeah, more than 2 years now, and I've never came back to really tell the world that this lens is fantastic. And you should forget about getting the prime lens as your first lens. Get this lens and then think about if you have any need to get the prime. And my prediction is that probably you don't want to get prime lens anymore the moment you start using this one. All right, so I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about the 28-75, or for that regard, the 35-100, I do have a detailed comparison video between those two lenses in the description, as well as in the area on the top right corner of this video. All right, so thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, happy shooting.